So we're gonna go ahead and get started tonight. So recently we've been playing Rakdos Pyromancer, Rakdos Arcanist, whatever you want to call it. Whew, excuse me, and Pioneer. And so now I'm interested to see if the deck can make it in Modern. So we're gonna try it in Modern. We made a couple changes. I feel like we personally get better lands playing it in Modern, but the real changes that we've made are we're running Unearth over Claim to Fame, and we're running Lightning Bolts over various cards. We cut a Dreadbore. Um, we cut a Dreadbore and we cut a couple Blood Chief's Thirst for this stuff, so it feels pretty good. And I hope it feels good. Let me rephrase. I'm hoping that it's pretty good. We left in the K commands just to be able to beat artifacts and stuff like that. In our sideboard, we've got Inquisition to help pick apart their hand. We got Collective Brutality to help in other aggro matchups or in anything where we want more like duress effects. Feed the Swarm is a great removal spell. Also helps us beat like ley lines or any kind of other enchantments. Cleansing Wildfire is good against Tron, or it can also be good against Amulet Titan things. K Command is just a very versatile card, grindy card that's really good. And 3 Soul Guide Lanterns to help pick apart like Dredge and other things like that. And of course, we're playing Lyris. So it's a little bit about the deck. We're going to go ahead and jump in here and see what we can make happen tonight. Modern League, 100 play points. Play match. I'm hoping it doesn't take too long to find games since we're playing Modern tonight, but you never know. Today, you'll have some waiting on you in the morning. Sorry, responding about a work thing here. All right. Okay. Got that taken care of. Man, I said it wouldn't take long to find a match, and we're a minute and 15 in, and we still haven't found a match. All right, let's start over. 43 trophies. That is ridiculous. That's going 5-0 43 times in Modern. Like, like that's A, really impressive, but B, it's just like what are you doing with your life? Hi, and good luck, opponent. For Zamiti626, at least that's what it looks like. I'm not sure. Yeah, this hand seems reasonable. We'll keep this. It's not insane, but we'll try it. Would really like to have like another creature like a Croxa or a 2-drop of some variety here, so. Young Pyromancer or Croxa, I'd even settle for a Dreadhorde Arcanist, honestly. Our opponent keeps on 6. They lead on Blackcleave Cliffs, Ether Vial, so it's goblins. Drawing Croaks is a pretty good one. Play Stitcher Supplier and say go. His Stitcher Supplier and 2 more lands, okay? Tyrion, what are you doing? Huh? Yep, Conscious Snoop. Seems decent. Play our Dreadhorde Arcanist and say go here. And then this way we can have like push, snap, push here if we need to. We have some pretty good options here. Our opponent's at 19. Goblins is more of a combo deck than it is anything else. Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker. Am I just dead? I mean, that's fine. They're all coming in tapped, so I don't really understand your combo, but... so I am dead here. Alright, well, thanks for playing. Quick combo hand. Being on the draw there really hurt us. We want Inquisition of Kozilek, which just got shifted into our deck. K-Command doesn't seem great. And Dreadbore seems slow. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think we'll just try it like this and see what happens. We could probably like cut a Village Rites and an Unearth and like bring in like Feed the Swarms or something, like, or bring in Dreadbore and a Feed the Swarm there, just to have as much removal as possible. I didn't even know Kiki was in Pioneer. No, it's not in Pioneer. I'm playing Modern tonight, man. Playing Rakdos Pyromancer in Modern tonight, so. You're playing Rakdos Pyro in Modern. Bold move. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm interested to see how it plays out. I'm curious to see if it's worth the time or not. If it is, I might try and play it at Richards this month. See if it's any good or not. Why are you playing? Why are you in 720 again? I shouldn't be in 720. I don't know. This hand seems really good. We're going to keep this. We'll take on turn 1 with Inquisition, whatever appears to be the most threatening. So, shouldn't be in 720. Alright, it is in 720. The stream has your source of 720. Yeah, I don't know why it does. I changed it back to 1080 the other day. I just saw it did. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. It is what it is. Our opponent takes a mulligan here, like a couple mulligans, which is really good because our hand of Thoughtseize and Inquisition looks a lot better now. I mean, our opponent can have a pretty decent hand from this draw, but we're hoping we can pick it apart before they can really get anything going. We're going to get a basic swamp here and play Arcanist and say go. We'll see what maybe they hit a land here. Appears they did not hit a land here, which is good for us. Yep, Inquisition you. I'm going to be honest, don't really care about that. Thoughtseize the musician. I know I said we don't care about it, but we're actually going to take it just because I know we can snap thought seize the Kiki Jiki out of his hand, so. We're not on like a super like green colorless lands and pioneer and go. Yeah. Croaks is also really good here. Don't care about Fatal Push. Sack Croxa. That's not great. Player Castle and say go. Probably should have played the fetch land there. And green colorless lands and pioneer and good colorless stompy creatures. Haship Oasis is good. If you're playing a second color, honestly, Haship Oasis, Yavimaya Coast, and Llanowar Waste are like the ones off the top of my head that sound good. So we're gonna put Luris into our hand, and we're gonna play Arcanist number 2 here and say go. We'd really like another way to put pressure on the field, to be able to put pressure on them. Good colorless stompy creatures include Matter Reshaper, Thought Knot Seer, Reality Smasher. There's like some green. There's probably some green devoid stuff. I don't know what it is, but I imagine there's got to be something that you could use. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. We're drawing bricks here. It's not going well. We're actually gonna play a fetch land here to try and help get to where we can play our Croxa. Or wait, I already played a land, didn't I? Did I? I did not play a land apparently. Okay, that's good. This means next turn we can cast the Croxa and actually put a 6/6 into play. So I was like, you have Ringleader here, which is, I imagine, where you're starting. Ringleader and X in your hand. All right, it's a pretty good Ringleader for us. Okay. Yeah, man, serve it up. Go to 9. We're going to get a Blood Crypt here. Tapped. Man, drawing this many lands is unheard of. We're going to get a mountain this time. Cast off Luris. And then we're going to cast it. Drawing this many lands and 21 cards is pretty rough here. So put all of this on the stack. We're going to leave this back so that we can block profitably. We're just going to 6 here because we don't have anything to do. He is going to pay the echo cost here. Okay, interesting. Leaves him on 4 and 3. Makes sense. I mean, it seems like the most combo efficient way to do things. Draws on land. Thanks, baby. I mean, Young Pyromancer is not a bad pickup, but I'm actually okay with them blocking Croxa here because we can just I mean, with them putting everything in front of Croxa, I'm pretty okay with that exchange, so. I'm also okay with that exchange. They're taking 3 life to do this stuff, so. As much as I'd like to be drawing cards with the castle, it's just tough to convince myself that it's okay to do that considering we're at 8. I mean, that puts us to 5. I know we have Luris, but it's not we're not we're like one bad draw step away from losing this game, sadly. So, or one good draw step, I should say. It's like you're gonna shove in and say math for blockers. My God, it's about time. Wow, that's really good. It's really good for multiple reasons. It makes blockers and it does this. That's what makes it so good. Definitely going to cast on the token here. Make another blocker. There's nothing to cast off the Arcanist. They're either going to activate their Vial. Oh, they're just going to discard their Vial. Okay. Man, I've technically not had anything leave the battlefield this turn, so. Drawing back-to-back pushes there was pretty good. I mean, they have to have a good draw step to beat us here. I guess I should have just... I shouldn't have shoved with everything because they block Luris, they block the Pyromancer, go to 1 anyway. So... And Relic's a redraw. Alright, so we win game 2 against Goblins. I'm wondering if we want more removal spells and less creatures. I think we can cut the Unearths and a couple citrus suppliers to bring in Dreadbore, Feed the Swarm, and a K command. Yeah, let's try it like this. I like having the extra removal. I don't really feel like Unearth is going to come in handy that often, so I'm okay with this exchange. I could be wrong. It's kind of the ups and downs of testing a deck like this. This hand's phenomenal. We have a threat. We have 2 removal spells and hand disruption. Like, I mean, when it comes to this, like when it comes to like an aggro matchup, it doesn't get much better than this. So our opponent keeps. We're gonna keep as well. Play a land tapped. Play Thoughtseize. See what they're working with here. Sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card that shares a creature type with a sacrificed creature and has converted mana cost equal to 1 plus that creature's mana cost. So it's like Birthing Pod. Okay, we're going to take the Birthing Pod effect. We have removal spells for everything else. This is coming down on red so that they can play the... Okay, never mind. They're going to play their Cavern here. They're going to play Snoop or War Marshal. If they play War Marshal, we're just going to play our young Pyromancer. If they play Snoop here, we're going to have to kill it. We're just going to say go and see what they do because we can kill them in response to them doing anything. Play the Pathway. Definitely Matron here. Probably should have pushed it just so they couldn't have imminent value off the top, but I mean... put that card on top of it. Okay. Hopefully we draw a land here. Munitions expert. Okay. Land, please. Croxus seems fine. See what they discard here. After this, they're going to have 4 cards, and we're going to know half of them or 3/4 of them. Half of them it is. So they draw the expert. Have that and Ringleader in their hand. They're playing something pretty quickly here. Goblin Matron. For some reason I feel like we knew about that. Yeah, we did because we knew it was on top with Snoop. Reveal it, put it into your hand. Okay. Skirk Prospector. Okay. We're gonna have to hope this is good enough here. We're gonna see what they discard here, and then we're gonna village rights. Unfortunately, we just couldn't tap out for the Pyromancer on turn 2 because we were just dead if we did, so... I mean, yeah, we were just dead because we knew they had the Matron on top. If not, I still think it's too sketchy to tap out and not kill the Stoop. I think we have to keep that off the field. I feel like it's a necessary evil, unfortunately. We've already played a land. Next turn we can get Blood Crypt, go Pyromancer, Fatal Push. Feels pretty good. Ringleader. We're gonna say go here. We're always gonna yield to this trigger. If they try to kill it in response, we're just gonna village rights, make another token, draw some cards. This feels like munitions expert here. I don't know if I'm being honest. Oh, I don't get a token off of this because of the village rights and the way that works. That's right. I forget that works that way, but I still think it's worth to do this. Because we get to kill the ringleader, and then we get to bolt, or we get to block the matron here. Which is great. Goblin matron, okay. Oh, what are you getting, buddy? You know, the funny part is like I have to stop and think a lot when I play decks like this because there's a lot of like thought and a lot of like interesting like plays that goes into a lot of this stuff, and like it just like people always end up using more clock than me, and I don't understand how. They get a ringleader, okay. We're gonna get rid of Thoughtseize, land, village rights, bolt. Yeah, I'd rather have removal spells and stuff in case we actually draw into something, so. I'm curious to see what he discards. Probably the Skirk Prospector, if I had to guess. Um, yeah. Fatal Push seems really good here. Having multiple removal spells. Playing the Ringleader here, I imagine. Or is this a Matron? We're doing... No, yeah, Ringleader. Okay. I mean, he's whiffed pretty hard to this point, so... I'd be lying if I said I hoped he like didn't whiff a little bit here. I don't have the patience to play Goblins deck and like these kind of decks and stuff like this. Like the Goblins deck like kills me. It's just like so like slow and like it doesn't do anything. Like I mean like I guess like I get that like it combos and stuff, but like it's just so slow. Hopefully that last card in his hand is not a Fatal Push. I think we just need to try and play crowd control here. Just keep as much stuff as we can off the board. Lightning Bolt's a pretty good pickup. We're gonna put Luris into our hand. Pitches Vile, okay. Having Bolt and Push is really good here. I mean, I could be wrong, but it feels like we're winning. Like, this feels like a winning game to me. If he attacks, we just have to take 3 here. There's not much I can do about it. Kill it with the trigger on the stack. That way he's forced to sack other things if he wants to do that. And then if he does nothing else at the end of the turn, we can push one of the tokens. And then... Okay, alright. Makes 2 1/1s. Ah, should have pushed there. So we're going to Inquisition and force him to use his stuff now. Yep. Play your Munitions Expert. One, two, three, four, five. We get to take your last creature here, which is good. And we're going to say go here. In case they actually draw a removal spell or something, we can Village Rites our creature in response to draw some cards. Or we have Fatal Push if we need to save face here. We kind of need them to brick here. Any haste threat, anything that puts creatures into their hand would be immediately bad for us. You okay, Taryn? What was that face? Wish y'all could have just seen the face Taryn made. Is you a sweet kitty? Huh? Is you a sweet kitty? Come here. Come here. This is not play hour. Plays a land. So we get to play Young Pyromancer. Yeah, this feels pretty good for us here, because we're just gonna attack and see what they do. They go to 12, and they played their land because they're like, well, it's either play their, it's like either lose your land or, yeah, go to 6 here. Wish we had a bolt. Having multiple blockers and fatal push here, I feel like, I mean, like unless they have like a combo in their hand to kill us right here, like, all right, they're gonna run it out. They put one in their hand. I don't know if they can kill us. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 life. One, two, three, four, five. I'm sorry, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Really? So they're gonna have exactly 8? Man, that sucks. That's unfortunate. We played a super close game, and I mean, if we had a way to kill it with the trigger on the stack, like we could win the game, but we just can't. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's exactly 8. Well, that sucks. That's unfortunate. Because I can just sack everything and then sack to itself. If I could sack another, if like I had to sack another goblin, yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, to be fair, like, yeah, it had to be exactly 3 mana away. We'll be on the play. We'll show you Luris. Oh, our opponent also has a companion. Interesting. I wonder what it is. Yorion. Interesting. The sand seems kind of bad. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to mulligan this. This hand seems better. Like, it doesn't seem great, but it seems better. We're gonna keep this and put push on the bottom. Player polluted delta and say go. Yorion. Interesting. Only one person's attacked so far, and they got 3 stars. So there's that. Let's see. Am I on my 10 right now? No, I'm on my 11. So I'm looking at 6. I mean, I'm hitting a Town Hall 11, so like I'm gonna make the usual and just get in there and tell people to get bent. Um, Sorry, I'm trying to request stuff for the war here. Um, Forest Birds of Paradise. Yeah, we're gonna bolt this. Our opponent probably thinks we're on like the Rakdos like shadow list with a bad mulligan or something, so we're gonna fetch a basic swamp here. Say go here. I'm interested to know what our opponent's playing. I could take a nap. Like honestly, I could just straight up go in the bed and go to sleep. Like right now, like no questions asked. Yep. This is also one of these attacks. Birds of Paradise and Wooded Foothills. Just gonna attack and try to bolt this thing here. bolt the bird, as it were. I don't know what else we're doing this turn, so I'm just going to put Luris into my hand. And say go. Let's see what they get here. This Bance, I imagine. Maybe 4 color, 5 color. What is that, Abzan? Oh, Abzan Yorion? Okay. Alright. I don't know what's in Abzan Yorion, but especially in Modern. Let's play Citrus Supplier and see if we can get a hit for our Arcanist here. Like Thoughtseize would be great. We're going to cast Village Rites here. Hit some more cards. We get to draw 2 cards, which is pretty good. We're just going to attack for 1 here and tear it up. We'd like to keep a threat on the field. Okay, just kidding. Removal spell. Really hoping to hit like a Thoughtseize there so that we could like try and pick their hand apart a little bit. Shocks in Godless Shrine before attacks. So has to mean something like a removal spell of some variety here. Murderous Rider? Interesting. And I don't know what my opponent's playing, but it's already like the dumbest thing in the whole world. If you're playing main deck Kaya's Guile, somebody hurt you. So this is 4 color. Yep, return Wooded Foothills. We can Dreadbore that next turn. We get to Dreadbore this and say go. Guess we could have bolted and then K commanded. Like upkeep, make them discard and kill the Wrenn. That would have been pretty good. We could have done that and saved our Dreadbore for like a Niv or whatever else they might be playing. Guile, you know. Definitely Niv. Or Bring to Light, maybe. Green, red, blue, black, white. Or white, black, either way. It is Bring to Light, okay. Sure, Bring to Light, Niv. Oh my god. Well, I think we can concede here. I think this game's over with. I could be wrong, but yeah, I'm not playing this one out. Um, we could take a kind of a crazy line and try to make them force them off of colors. Seems a little aggressive, but um, cut a village rights. I like it. We'll try it like this and see what happens. Oh, Lord. I mean, that was probably the best Niv I've seen in a long time. He had, he looks at 10 cards and he put 8 of them into his hand. Or I'm sorry, 7 of them. Like, you get a 5 mana 6/6 that puts 7 cards into your hand. Like, most Nivs put like 3 to 4 cards in people's hands, I've noticed. Like, and I feel like that's pretty average. Like, that's pretty, like that's what you can expect. 7 cards is insane, though. I mean, not that he needed it. The 6/6 was going to be us by itself. But still, not really the point. So even if we would have saved the Dread War there, it wouldn't have mattered. Saving Dread War would have been irrelevant because even though we would have got the Niv off the field, we still would have just lost to the 7 cards that he put in his hand. So yeah, I mean, technically a misplay, but I don't really feel bad about it. Oh, we don't want that. Try it like that. Yeah, we want the village rights. We don't want an unearth. And we want as much hand disruption as possible, so we brought in the brutalities also. Alright, apparently our opponent's taking a decade and a half here to sideboard. Is Feed the Swarm for a specific deck right now? No, not really. Like, it's really good against anything Shadow and Jund Shadow. Every time I turn on Magic, somebody's playing Jund Shadow, so Feed the Swarm's really good against Tarmogoyf and Death Shadow. But I mean, so is 4 main deck Fatal Push, so I mean, take that for what it's worth, but that's not really much of a reason. What do other people do? Why would we get mad about that? So this hand has no pressure. We're gonna have to mulligan this. I think we're gonna keep this and play that. Say go. I mean, this hand's not great. And our opponent kept 7, which means we're more than likely going to lose this game, but we're going to try it anyway. Oh, Forest? Birds of Paradise? Utopia Sprawl, that's pretty good. I was going to say that I almost like Sylvan Carry added better, but that's pretty good too. Is red? Alright. So I'm okay with playing this here to be able to play Pyromancer and Village Rights next turn. Jesus Christ. So we're going to get a little aggressive here. Our opponent didn't play anything last turn, so we're going to try it. They didn't draw land, so they're probably going to Veil of Summer here to cantrip. No, they're not. Interesting. Hopefully they don't draw land here. Because if they're able to cast a Fairy or Lightning Helix on my Pyromancer, it's pretty bad for us. Okay. Gonna attack for 3. I'm gonna fetch for a Blood Crypt here. Red, black, land. I mean, it's just the other 5 cards in our graveyard. But I feel like we need to get something going here. Like, we really need to put pressure on. And I imagine after not drawing a land, our opponent's gonna cycle. Like, I'd probably cycle before I discard. Discard a Lightning Helix? Okay. Yep, they are gonna cycle. Yep, I would have. And they concede. Alright, well, we get a free win there. So that one was kind of a free one. I mean, it felt set up pretty well. Yeah, I think we're just going to leave it the way it is. We need to have the bolt so that we can have removal spells for the birds on turn 1 if we need them. But we're playing 7 hand disruption spells, so... Mulliganing to a threat there was a good call. This is one of those decks, like, don't get me wrong, like, there are a lot of decks I don't care about having a threat, but pretty much everything I play requires that we have some kind of threat on the board to win the game. Something to do with, like, the decks that I like to play are not okay with just sitting around. So, mulliganing our 7, I mean, our 7 was trash. Like, our 7 was Thoughtseize, like, Bolt and 5 lands. Like, that hand's terrible anyway. But even if that hand, like, wasn't terrible, it has no threat, so you can't keep it. Alright, our opponent's taking a really long time to sideboard. It's almost a little frustrating, if I'm being honest. Well, as soon as our opponent gets done here, we'll actually do something. It's already 8 o'clock, and this is only our second match. This is one of the downfalls of playing decks like this, is that they are very grindy, and it takes a long time to play games. And sometimes I don't mind to just sit and play Magic for 4 hours the entire stream, but a lot of times I don't like to. I like to try and mix it up and play like some Rocket League or Call of Duty or something, so honestly, I'd like to be able to get in 2 leagues every night and play some of that, but it's tough to do that in 4 hours. Wow, our opponent's going to use all of their sideboarding time. Jesus. Literally, our opponent used all 2.5 of their minutes. Okay. For 2.5 minutes? Did they have to run to the other side of their house to pee? It's ridiculous. Like, it's absurd. Our opponent keeps 7, we're going to keep 7. We have card draw, we have hand disruption, and like we have a threat. Like this is a good hand for us. Our opponent has no 1-drop. We're going to Inquisition and see what they have. Hopefully they don't have Veil of Summer. Feels like they're fetching really quickly. They have Veil of Summer. I mean, it's a blowout. There's nothing I can do about it. Like, I have to play my threat on turn 1. They did represent it really well, so. Yeah, definitely Veil of Summer. Yep. I mean, that was really good for our opponent. Our opponent was able to keep 7 both games 2 and 3 with Veil of Summer in their hand, so I mean, there's not a lot we can do about that. Chosen color's red. So there's a couple options. Play Niv. Yeah, yeah. Oh, this is a fucking disaster. Return their land, so they have a land and 4 unknown cards in hand. Yeah, this game's over. And we can't play our threat. Like, it's just going to die to Niv or to Ren and 6, and then we have nothing to do, so. This game is probably over. Yeah, I already 6'd. Red, green, white, blue. I mean, he's got 4 colors. You just need black next turn. He's going to plus and get his Prismatic Vista back, so. Omnath. Our opponent's had a hell of a curve here. And we're drawing lands, like just straight lands. So we're going to say go here. And then when they mine us, we're going to try and draw 2 cards. Maybe 24 lands is too much for this deck. Like maybe this is like a 23 land deck. Cut a land and play a 4th bolt maybe. We could try that next time we play this deck. Yep. I mean, the life's not that big of a deal just because, like. I didn't have to fetch for the swamp because of our Urborg. We definitely shouldn't have played the Urborg. That was bad, but. It appears they're going to anyway. Yeah, Veil of Summer into ramp into Ren and 6 into turn 3 Omnath was really good. So I think honestly we just have to draw cards here. Like I know we don't get a token out of it, we don't really get anything. We have to. Like it's like our hand is so bad that we have to draw cards here. Like there's nothing we can do without it. So I mean Citrus Supplier and Arcanist isn't bad. It allows us to put 2 things on the table this turn, so it doesn't seem completely miserable. You can bring to light for 4, or never mind, I have Urborg on the field. Put Yorion into your hand, okay. Serve up 4. Wow. Put 3 more cards into the graveyard. Draw 2 cards. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, that's rough, man. Yeah, I think we're going to pack it in here. There's some. As I would in Pioneer. Yeah, Ben, we are not bopping anybody right now, dude. What a steam pile. It's definitely a pile, Brandon, that's for sure, but hoping I can tune it for Richard's tournament at the end of the month here. I mean, we have no red mana. Like, if we had a red land, I would keep this on the off chance that we could go Thoughtseize into Kroxa, but we're going to have to mulligan here. Personally feel like this hand's a lot better. We're going to keep this and put a Croaks on the bottom. And we're just going to play this tapped. We don't know what our opponent's on. They don't have a companion, so we can't know what's going on. Man, I love that. I love that freaking, God, what's it called? What's the thing we made called with my face on it? The emote. Emotes, thank you. We're going to go ahead and run out Arcanist here and see if they have a Fatal Push. Feels like we're playing against Jund or some version of Shadow here. Bloodstained Mire. I mean, it could be Goblins again. It could be Goblins. I doubt it. It's the first time I played against Goblins in like 2 months, so. Overgrown Tomb tapped, okay. We'd really like to draw a land here because if we draw a land, we can go Pyromancer into Thoughtseize, Arcanist Thoughtseize. So it would be a pretty sweet turn for us. And I don't know if Fatal Push is ever going to be relevant here, but and if they play, I mean, we want to land either way because we're more than likely looking at Thoughtseize, Snap Thoughtseize here. Tarmogoyf, Abrupt Decay, okay. And we're going to go ahead and cast Thoughtseize here, see what they're working with, and then we get a token so we can start applying some pressure. I think we're going to take Renin 6 here. Renin 6 proposes the most threat. Being able to pick off our Pyromancer is pretty good. If they want to play Liliana the Vellum minus, we can sack our token. If they play Liliana Vellum plus, we don't care because we're just going to discard our Croxa to it, so it doesn't matter. And if they play Tarmogoyf, we have Fatal Push. So it feels like our hand's pretty well rounded against whatever they're trying to accomplish this turn. Renin 6 did like put up the most fight here. Tarmogoyf is fine. I mean, they do have an unknown card in hand. We're going to attack for 3 here. Imagine if they drew a removal spell, they would have played it, though. You want any tonight, or is it just an ankle-grabbing experience? It has been an ankle-grabbing experience so far tonight. I'm 0-2, and we've only played 2 games in an hour and 15 minutes. It's been a very long league tonight. I'm hoping that I can turn it around. All right. Our opponent takes 3. Oh, okay. Just kidding. They drew something? If they drew a push and didn't play it last turn, I'm very confused if I'm being honest here. No, just fetching. Okay. We know the cards in their hand, so we're just going to play Croxa and Sego here. See what they pitch. I imagine they'll pitch their Croxa if I'm being honest, so. Interesting. Shock in, okay. Bloodbred Elf. Yep. Cascading a Pillage to store our Blood Crypt. Artifact on land. Okay. Yep, hit our Blood Crypt, which is fine. We can bolt that. So again, this isn't a very scary draw for us. That's tough. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I hope I can keep believing. So So we're just gonna bolt this here. And then we're gonna attack for 4. And then we're gonna fetch a Blood Crypt tapped here, and then any untapped land allows us to play Croxa this turn, so this next turn, so it feels pretty good. I mean, there are a lot of things that could go wrong between now and then, but we have a good amount of points on the board. Our opponent automatically skipped to their second main phase on accident, I can only believe. Croxa. Yep, Croxa. I doubt they're playing the Village Rites special, so we're at 13. They're going to say go. They have 1 card in hand. I imagine it's interaction in some way. Yeah, I was like, they would have played the Verdant Catacombs last turn. I was like, they definitely drew that. Blood Crypt tapped. Land, please. So we get to put them to 3 here, and then we have lethal next turn, so they have to draw pretty well here. Land, land, land. We'll get rid of Thoughtseize. And Bolt, I guess. So they take 6, they take 3, go to 6, and then we're gonna attack for 3 and put them to 3. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible we don't lose this game, but I'm failing. I don't know what has to happen here for us to lose. Even like Damnation's not terrible because, and if they're playing main deck Damnation, then good for them. So, because if their play is Croxa here, then they are dead. So, all right, they do something. Because if they have 1 mana interaction spell in Croxa, then that's fine actually, because then they just go to 1. So Fatal Push would have been a really good draw for them right there actually. This tells us all, because if they let us attack, the game's over. Okay. Alright, so against Jund, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't done this a lot. We want K Command, we want Soul Guide Lanterns, we want Feed the Swarm. We do not want Thoughtseize. I can't really super confirm it, but I've always been told that Thoughtseize isn't great in the mirror. It's just really bad off the top, so I don't play a lot of these grindy matchup mirrors. Dreadbore seems good. K Command seems good. Soul Guide Lantern, Feed the Swarm. Unearth seems okay. Citrus Supplier seems like a good play to block with. Dreadbore, Croxa. Yeah, all this seems good. We're going to try this and see what happens. I don't know if taking out the bolts is necessarily right, if I'm being honest, but we're going to try it. Bolt doesn't kill a lot of their stuff. Like, Bolt can be interactive and useful, but it doesn't kill all of their stuff, so. Hopefully they're not playing, like, Plague Engineer in their sideboard. Thoughtseize always bad in matches that go long. Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Like, you say that kind of stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It's just like I always have to kind of remind myself that, because I'm like, man, I want to like I want to pick apart their hand, but there is no like drawing Thoughtseize on like turn like 8 when everybody has no cards in hand is really bad. So I said that, and our opponent's gonna like draw a Thoughtseize like late in the game and like super punish us and make me look retarded. Let's see. Yeah, this hand's great. We're gonna keep this. Our opponent also keeps 7. I love to be able to lead on Citrus Supplier. Absolutely love it. Drawing another Fatal Push is really good. I think I'm going to get aggressive here and fetch a Blood Crypt. See what cards we hit here. Oh, Lord. Only time discard base has ever been good was the time that mill guy drew a turn 42 Inquisition to beat me for top 8 in that classic. Man, like every time like I sit and think about that, I'm like what series of events, like what wild series of events had to happen for that to work out that exact way? Like that was a wild weekend, honestly. That was a crazy game, honestly. I think we're just gonna attack here and then play another Stitcher Supplier and say go. Yeah, play Stitcher Supplier. Darren. Push that one. Yeah, I mean, I'm super okay with that. We're just putting more cards in our graveyard, which is phenomenal, which just gives us a higher chance of putting Croaks into the yard, which, again, I'm perfectly okay with, and we're fueling our Luris for later in the game. I mean, Soul Guide Lantern's not a great draw right there, like, off the top. Like, Soul Guide Lantern is good and also not good somehow simultaneously at the same time. So our opponent gonna, like, Thought Seize us here. Blood Chiefs there, sure. Imagine our opponent's got like a Soul Guide Lantern of their own or some dumb shit that they're just gonna like slam. Get rid of our graveyard. Okay. It's interesting. So I think we're just gonna go with the Croxa here. Force them to get rid of that. And then if we have this would be a good times for a Village Rites right here. Village Rites would be insane right there. Discards Bloodbraid Elf. Part of me wanted to put Luris in our hand so that next turn if we draw an untapped land, we could go Luris into Soul Guide Lantern and just kind of like either get rid of their graveyard or start cycling things. So Surgical Extraction. Okay, sure, buddy. And it actually doesn't seem bad. They're getting rid of like our biggest threat here, so I don't hate it. Hopefully our opponent does that thing where they forget to click on it and they only get 3 and I get to keep the one in my graveyard. Nope, not that lucky. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna play our Dreadhorde Arcanist and see if it dies. Push. Okay. I mean, we have young Pyromancers left and they don't, so if they play Kroxa, we're going to discard Fatal Push here. We want as many threats as possible. Okay. They just can't draw lands, it appears. I think it's worth tapping out for here. They get to kill our. I guess we'll hit Bloodbraid Elf. It doesn't really matter. I know we're not in any danger of them being able to recast their Croxa. I just don't want to get into a spot where we're like forced to do something that we don't want to do because of that. I'd rather have it on the field and hold it up. Plus, it's always really good to cycle this card. Hey, they finally drew a land. Probably going to play Liliana and minus here, which is fine. Yep. 3 cards in hand. All right. I mean, if they ever like play anything like hopefully they try to like play a blocker here that we can fatal push or something. I would most definitely enjoy being able to fatal push something. Um, so we get to fatal push that because our young Pyromancer left the battlefield this turn. Yep, we're gonna discard a fatal push. Click to the end here, fatal push their engineer. Sack this Sego, or put Luris into our hands, Sego. What do they discard? Is that Assassin's Trophy? Dreadbore. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a fan of that secret layer stuff. I mean, mostly because I think it looks stupid, but also because I can never tell what it freaking is. Well, that's big stupid. Yep, that's pretty good, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's like, so our opponent either really likes the last 2 cards in their hand, or they are gonna do this after combat. So they really like the last card in their hand. We're gonna cycle to draw a card. We're just gonna try to just put as many cards in our hand here as possible. Play Soul Guide Lantern. The good news about this is that we do get to just keep eating stuff out of their graveyard. Not that it's super relevant, but yes, we're gonna shock in. I imagine they'll minus here. They either have a removal spell chalked up or they're gonna minus. Oh, they are gonna minus. Okay. So I mean, it's not looking good. We're running out of cards fast here, so they only get 3 more times of doing that. So phenomenal, phenomenal. It's looking good. I like this. Um, we're actually gonna cycle here and then see what we do. Because if we draw into like a Pyromancer or something, we'll want to have the. So I think we're actually just gonna go ahead and cast our Dreadbore here. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it with the lands that way, just because I can. Lol. So they're gonna fetch here. The problem is that there's only 18 cards left in our deck. So we're gonna need our opponent to brick here, like for a minute. And just because they don't play anything doesn't necessarily mean they brick. It means that they have. Could also just mean that our opponent's drawing interaction, which is also bad for us. So Village Rites is a pretty good pickup here to draw some extra cards with. Another Tarmogoyf. Oh, no. Cloythus. Oh, that's a problem. That's a big problem. That's a problem. Yeah, we're just going to lose to the Cloythus here. Plus, there's probably not that much action left in our deck, so like one removal spell wins the game for them there. Okay. All right. Maybe we want bolts to be able to deal with the planeswalkers and other annoying things like that. Cut a K command, cut a feed the swarm. Let's try it. We'll try it like this. Could also be an option to cut the unearths. Yeah, we'll keep this. This seems fine. We'll play Swamp into Soul Guide Lantern, so don't want him to be able to thought seize it away or anything like that. I mean, I always kind of assume that people are leaving in thought season matchups like this, if I'm being honest. And I think they're about to prove my point. Or they're gonna hold up for Velisummer here, or a removal spell, kind of whatever they see fit. So we'll see what happens. Play Arcanist and say go here. Fatal push. Fatal push. Yep. Our opponent shocked in on Fatal Push for turn 2. That's extremely aggressive. I don't buy that. Our opponent had to have what has like Veil of Summer or something here. I don't buy that one for a second. Yep, see our opponent did leave in Hand Disruption. Which I don't know that I entirely agree with, but take Unearth. Okay. Probably means they have Surgical in their hands. Don't really understand why our opponent said oops there. I mean, it's kind of aggressive, but like sure, you get a 4/4, but I'm just gonna kill it anyway. Like you basically discard a card that said gain 4 life. Like if nothing else, they actually added to our Croaks account here, so is this their Croxa? It is their Croxa. Interesting. It's really interesting considering we have Soul Guide Lantern in our hand. I mean, we pitch our Bolt, but like, whatever. Hopefully we draw a land here so we can punish them. We're gonna put Luris into our hand and say go here. We're gonna try and prepare for a little bit of the long game here. Our opponent's only got 4 cards. They may not have anything else to bring in. I mean, I guess that's also a reason they may not have anything else to bring in. So, Liliana of the Veil, sure. each player discards a card. We're going to discard our Unearth here. They discard Wrenn and 6. So we need to force them to minus here. Like, I know we're getting no value out of this, but say oops back. I guess I mean, I probably should have. I don't know. I try not to indulge in people like that who are just assholes for no reason. Yep, they're forced to minus. They didn't have a fourth land last turn, so we know they have at least 2 cards that are gas in their hand. Our opponent passes. Yeah, I think we'll just get a Blood Crypt here. Land, Luris, Unearth. Land, Unearth. So, I mean, even if they do have a removal spell here, I mean, if they don't have a removal spell, it's great because they're forced to minus. So, okay, so they either have a sorcery speed removal spell or they're going to have to minus their Liliana here. And I'm not going to lie, I really hope it's minusing their Liliana here. Tarmogoyf? Assassin's Trophy. Yes, absolutely, I will take a land here. Take a swamp. I think this actually allows us to replay our Luris here. Or replay our Kroxa. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. We have to discard our Soul Guide Lantern. I think it's actually relevant to do it this way here. Arcanist. We'll leave push here. It seems the most relevant. There's 2 bolts left in the deck. If they're forced to minus here, K command also helps us buy back. Helps us kill Liliana. Yep. They make a sack. We really need to find a way to deal with Liliana here, or find a threat. Finding a threat here is also acceptable. Just kind of anything to put into play. And of course, we like even drawing like our Castle Locktwain would have been fine there because we could redraw. So just drawing. I mean, I guess drawing a fetch land makes it somewhat okay because we're getting back towards Kroxa, but at the same time, like it's miserable. Ooh, our opponent really likes their last card, the card they just drew. Okay, all right. That is good to know. Means I have something, some interaction, something. Citrus Supplier is really good here. Yeah, I mean, getting to recast this is good because they either have instant speed interaction or they're going to discard their card. Oh, they're going to discard Maelstrom Pulse. Yeah, that's really good for us. Yeah, this is. I'm hoping we turn this game around because I'm not going to lie. I said that I don't like to indulge people, but right before we attack for lethal, if we win this game, I might say oops back just because I'm in a bad mood. So They take 4 this way. Um, I'm gonna be honest. I don't see a reason to not play this. Like there might be some reason to hold it, but I think we're just gonna run it out here. It's probably the overly aggressive side of me that wants to do that, but they also have to draw targeted removal. Like Liliana won't cut it against our Croxa here, so internet indulges are the tastiest. I think our opponent playing their land there is actually really smart because they're going to take 6, 8, 9, 12 next turn and go to 5. GG. Yeah, we're definitely doing this. Oops. But the games we've lost have been super close. So, I mean, I really like the way the deck's playing so far, like, honestly, even though we're 1 and 2. This is just a little bit of, like, theory testing to see if this is even good enough to consider to play in Modern. This hand's a little land heavy, but I also see this being pretty good. Just because if I'm being honest, if we have to, depending on what we're playing against, we can fatal push our Stitcher Supplier and unearth our Stitcher Supplier, which seems a little aggressive, but it's not something we'll lead with. Windswept Heath. Utopia Sprawl. Red or white? Red. Okay, tells us a lot about what we're playing against. Drawing Young Pyromancer is pretty good. Definitely should have fetched for a basic there. Um, didn't think that wasn't something I was really thinking about. I was thinking about getting my fast signs down, but I definitely should have fetched for a basic there in case they slam a Blood Moon. We'll only have 1 black source, which doesn't like end the game or anything, but you know it's not great. This feels like a Blood Moon. Yep. Okay. I mean, the good news is that there's 3 more swamps in our deck here, so. I don't really know what they play in the form of removal. So I think we're just going to run out our Pyromancer here. Yeah, when they named red, we should have fetched for basic swamp there. Would have been pretty good. Bolt our Pyromancer. I guess it's good we have Unearth, huh? Scavenging Ooze. Now they're going to eat our Pyromancer. Okay, so we're not going to Unearth it. Just kidding, I lied. Having Fatal Push is pretty good here, though. Drawing another swamp is actually a pretty decent draw here. No, wrong creature. We want to kill this. We're going to attack and then we're going to cycle here. Is this mana cost 3 or less? Wow, I literally thought that was 2. Wow, that's insane, actually. Wow, we could have kept Lurrus in our graveyard last game just in case we drew one on Earth to actually bring back our Lurrus. Wow, I didn't think about that. I've never wow, I did not know that. All right, well, that's good. It means we're learning. And that's the point of playing this league, playing this deck, is to learn and to make ourselves better. So here we go. We're actually going to hold the Unearth here. I don't see a reason in running into it here. During our draw step, okay, we're going to play a mountain. We're going to serve up 1. We're going to see what they do. They're probably just going to take it here because they realize that if they do kill it, they're fueling our plan here. And we're going to do this and hold up Bolt here. We're going to say go. And having Unearth here for our Lurrus is insane. Man, like this is... Unearth just became like 100 times better in this deck. Honestly, we might try to find a way to fit a 3rd in there, actually. Glorybringer? Ew. He's probably not gonna exert and just race us here. Like honestly, I mean that's what I would be doing. Dreadbore would be a good one here. They have 2 cards in their hand, so it's possible that they just have threats in their hand. It's tough to say. They keep stopping during our draw step, and I think they're just like misclicking on things. I don't really know what's happening, so. Oh, so we're gonna play a land, play Lurrus, Sego, force them to exert, and then we get to unearth our Lurrus and use our Lurrus that way. So yeah, that seems like a pretty effective tool. Play Lurrus, and we have Bolt here. Really, like another Bolt would be sweet to be able to actually draw into something like that, like to be able to kill the Glorybringer, because they don't have that many cards left in their hand. So the thought of them actually having to this Bloodbraid Elf, okay. Bolt's good against Bloodbraid Elf, so that's good for us. Utopia Sprawl, okay. Utopia Sprawl. Is that Enchant Forest? Yeah, okay. See, I actually would have targeted the other one here. I mean, like I know that like the odds of that being that way aren't great, but we're gonna see what happens here. They're probably gonna exert and try to attack for 7 and when they get race here. It actually doesn't work out that poorly for us. We get the Bolt of Bloodbraid Elf here. Take 4, go to 12. We're not exactly winning the race, but we take 4, go to 12. They're probably gonna say go or play a land or something. Okay, hang on. Let's not do anything hasty here. All right. Let us attack for 1. Let's lead on Stitcher Supplier. See what we hit. If we hit anything lurusable, that'd be good. No, not cycling. Cast. Cast on Lurrus. We get to put Lurrus into play. We get to cast our Young Pyromancer, and we get to cast our Dreadhorde Arcanist and Sego. So this actually feels pretty good here. Feels like we're moderately turning this game around. Bolt our Lurrus, yeah, sure, buddy. I mean, I kind of figured they had a Bolt or something, but like it's not like we can play around it. And now from here, guess we actually have quite a few options if we wanted to. We could attack. Renin 6 is annoying. Probably going to pick off our Young Pyromancer. Okay. Play a land and say go. What do we have here? Fatal Push does not do me any good. So we are going to attack Renin 6, attack you. We are going to snap, unearth, return Lurrus to the battlefield. Man, unearth is so good in this deck. Holy God! Like I knew Unearth was good. Like I just hadn't considered the ramifications of how good Unearth was, if I'm being honest. So, and then if they draw something, that they can actually run out here, we can actually just name they chose red both times. That's interesting considering I would have chose green if I'm being honest. Cloythus isn't great. So they're gonna put us to 8. Or are they gonna? So it doesn't matter what we target. We're just doing this to make a token so that next turn we can village rights and draw some cards and hopefully do something that way. We knew it wasn't going to do anything, so. So I think we have lethal here. I mean, they get to go to 9 and eat our Croxa, which isn't great, but I still. And playing their land there is not bad. So we have to have a kind of a lucky draw step here, but it is possible for us to win. Chief called, a land ain't it. Them being able to use that way is really unfortunate. So they block there, take 4. Maybe we get lucky and they block a Stitcher Supplier or something, I don't know. Yep, then we play our land and lose. Well, that's unfortunate. That sucks. Man, killing Croxa there would have been sweet. Would have been lethal, so. That's unfortunate, but it's okay. So I think we actually want Cleansing Wildfire here. I think that and Inquisition is really good. Feed the Swarm seems really good. K Command does not seem good. 6 more cards here. Dreadbore seems good. I'm not going to lie, Bolt seemed medium at best that game. Unearth seems okay. Cut a Village Rights and cut a. Man, this is tough stuff here. Try it like this. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we have some discard here. Perhaps it was worth it to Village Rights a Supplier instead of an Elemental there in the hopes of milling Croak so that you could immediately escape. Yeah, I mean, that actually would have won us the game there because we would have milled into it, and that would have having that would have won us the game. Actually, yeah, so that would have been really good. Yeah, it's not something I thought about. I was just thinking I get to keep a token for free, so definitely should have done that. I like that play though. Seems really good. Yeah, I like this hand. We're gonna keep this. We get to fetch a basic here and a Stitcher Supplier. I don't know what their graveyard hate of choice is here, but so we're definitely going to Cleansing Wildfire this. I like to say feed the Swarm for a creature here. Stitcher Supplier is a pretty good pickup. We'll attack for 1. And yeah, like the hitting the Stitcher Supplier, like that's just stuff that I feel like you're more inclined to think about than I am. Ponza usually run relics, I think. Yeah, I feel like they definitely run relic. I feel like I've seen them on relic before. I could be wrong, but um, I'm actually gonna attack and see what they do here. If they don't, I'll probably consider. I don't know. That's tough. If this is worth killing or not. I hate to waste all of our removal spells on ramp stuff, but let's see. If we play Stitcher Supplier and Croxa, we can play Croxa next turn. So I like having that as an option there. Actually, I don't think we need to run out our Stitcher Supplier. I think we can just play our Croxa here and see what happens. Should have played the land first to at least make them think that we were going to use something like that. So they discard a land. Okay. We're going to play this so that we can fetch Basic Swamp if we need to. Depending on what's in their hand and what their play is, they might fetch Basic Forest here if they're trying to play around Blood Moon and they have a mountain in their hand. Yeah, they're definitely playing some kind of 3-drop here. Is this Blood Moon? Coloithus? Okay. I don't really care about that one. That's fine. I mean, Coloithus sucks, but, like, this is also the reason that we kept this so that we could escape the Croxa this turn, so. We want to get land, Arcanist, Wildfire. Leave the Arcanist. See what they pitch here. I mean, they are at 13. Like, it's not like we're in a credible feat from killing them. We've made some good progress over the turns here. Tireless Tracker. Interesting that they brought in Tireless Tracker. And we know they don't have lands in their hand because they didn't play one last turn. Feels good, man. One step ahead of Cloithus. I mean, yeah, like honestly, like it really does. Like to be ahead of Cloithus that way is pretty sweet. It really, really does. So they pilled a land. 2 mana. Scoos maybe. Engineered explosives on 2. Okay. So we're gonna attack here and force them to do it. Pay cost to the engineer explosives. Goodbye, Croxa. We're gonna attack for 1 here. So there's 2 trains of thought here, in my opinion. It's either Croxa, make them discard a card, play Stitcher Supplier in hopes of getting it down next turn, of getting Croxa into play next turn, or it's Young Pyromancer, feed the Swarm, their Arbor Elf. So Croxa makes them discard a card. They're more than likely not discarding a land, and then Stitcher Supplier puts 3 more cards in the graveyard, which leaves us Croxa and 3 cards, which means we have no way to play Croxa the following turn. So I think let's go with the Pyromancer play here. Puts power into play, and it does multiple things here, so... Alright. So we put 4 power into play. We're going to go to 13 here, which is fine. And we're going to say go and see what they do. Yeah, Young Pyro seems strong here. Yeah, it seems pretty good. I like that play here. Now, unfortunately, we're kind of giving up the idea, like we're forcing ourselves into the corner with this play of if we're going to put Croaks into play, it's play Croaksa, escape Croaksa in the same turn. So what was that? Stomp. Okay. So let's play Stitcher Supplier. Hit 3 cards here. I mean, gives us multiple Lurrus targets next turn. Hopefully we hit an untapped land so we can go Lurrus into Young Pyromancer here. I mean, they are slowly winning the race here, so like it's... They're not going to play their Bone Crusher Giant? Okay, they are. I was like, what? I was like, I really don't understand here. So Croaksa, they pitch their last card into Fatal Push the Bone Crusher Giant, go to 7, then we go to 5. It's either that or take 5 to play Feed the Swarm, which I really don't like. This doesn't seem like a great option, but it seems like our best option here. We're giving up the ability to put our other Croaks in play, but discard a Braid. Okay. Yeah, we go to 7. And then as long as they don't draw a removal spell for our Lurrus next turn, we're feeling pretty good about this. We really hope they draw something that we can Fatal Push here. That's really where we'd like to be at. They're going to eat our Croaksa here because if they don't, we're just going to get it back. So them drawing a land is not bad for us. I mean, we have to run out our Lurrus here. Like we have to be prepared to try and gain some life. Us getting a hit off of Lurrus is definitely going to be the way we win this game. I think what we might do is take the line that Nostalgia offered up earlier of Village Rights our Stitcher Supplier here. All right, that could be problematic. Utopia Sprawl. All right, they've had 2 Bloodbraid Elves and 2 bricks here, so... Man, this sucks. We're forced to block. Well, that's not great. But kind of is what it is right now. Yeah, we're going to Village Rights our Stitcher Supplier and hope we can hit like a Croaksa or something here. So, yeah, this feels rough. It just feels like we're losing to the Cloythus here. Cloythus is pretty tough to deal with. Hit a Croxa one time, please. So, yeah, this game's probably over here. Like, I don't know what we're hitting to get out of this. We really needed to be able to hit Croxa right there so that we could actually just cast Croxa and put it into play, and then we're winning the race that way. So they get to eat Lurrus here, go to 12, we go to 4. I guess they could have a Bolt in their hand. They haven't played one this game. It's not really a difference between 3 and 4 here in this matchup. Like, if they have Bolt, they have Bolt. Yep. This is very unfortunate the way this game's played out here. I don't think there's anything that wins us the game from here. Like, nothing that actually allows us to deal with. Oh, wow. You had Bolt that whole time and didn't just play it? Dude, you're a douche. Like, why? I don't understand why hold it. Bolt there. Like, there's nothing we could do about that. I think fetching to thin the deck in some way is probably right. Maybe not. I feel like this hand's good. We'll keep this. Play Stitcher Supplier and say go here. Young Pyromancer, Thoughtseize, Young Pyromancer. The start to this game is making our Creeping Tar Pit, okay? Making our Lurrus look better. K Command's a good pickup. We'll play this. We'll attack here. Drawing K Command, I feel like makes it worth to run the Pyromancer out here. We can run it out, and then we can, like, if we need to, we can K Command, return one, make our opponent discard or kill something. Or we also just always have the option of putting Lurrus into our hand next turn. Serum Visions, okay. Some kind of blue-black, I don't know, probably like some kind of blue-black control kind of thing. Grixis, okay. Shocks and a Blood Crypt to kill our Pyromancer, I imagine. Fatal Push, yep. Let's see here. And Young Pyromancer number 4 is not bad. We'll run out another one here, and if they go for a removal spell, we can always use Fatal Push on our Young Pyromancer here to get a token out of the deal. So I imagine Fatal Push isn't going to be great in this matchup. I could be wrong. Fatal Push could be phenomenal here, but it feels like Fatal Push is not going to be great in this matchup. They're going to Thoughtseize us. Okay, willing to let them take a card here. Take K Command quickly. Yeah, it makes sense. Math checks out. Again, I don't see us using this, so we're just going to go ahead and fire this off here. We'd rather have a token, apply some amount of pressure, and then next turn we can put Lurrus into our hand. So steam vents. All right. Curious to know what this is. I mean, this just feels like Grixis control. So I think we're going to put Lurrus into our hand, and we're actually going to save the Unearth for when we need to unearth our Lurrus later in the game. I think that will present the most value for us. So we put our opponent to 12 here. Jace the Mind Sculptor, okay. Brainstorm, seems good. So Bolt's actually not bad here. So now I think there's another option of attack him for 2, unearth our Pyromancer, and bolt the Jace. I think that's a pretty good line here. For what it's worth, definitely should have done all this before combat, just so in case he does that force of negation here, we don't just completely lose. Unearth our Pyromancer. Then we're going to bolt this. We've already yielded to the trigger. Him not having force of negation here was really good. We should have done that before combat because if he had force of negation, we can also attack his Jason, put it to 1. So if he wants to minus to bounce it like our token, he's forced to kill his Jace. Or if he wants to keep it out of range of the stuff we have on the board, he's forced to plus. He's forced to plus and Fate Seal. So Unearth is another good draw step. I don't know what our opponent here could have, but we're just going to kind of run our stuff out here and see what happens. We're going to try to get in for 5 here. I mean, it's half of our opponent's life total, so probably have Snapcaster here, I have to imagine. Yep. I imagine they're going to bolt a token. They don't want to hit our Stitcher Supplier. So they bolt a token. No, they bolt that. Block a token, I guess? Or take 3? I don't think you want to block Stitcher Supplier. All right, that's interesting. Most people try to avoid that like the plague. That's K command. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was So this is tough here. I don't want to play Lurrus for no value, but I'd also like to get Lurrus down and force them to deal with it, knowing that we have Unearth in our hand. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and play it. It's a little greedy, but I think it's worth running it out and trying it. Definitely should have played our Stitcher Supplier there. I'm a moron. I wasn't even thinking about Stitcher Supplier there. That was just bad. He probably has K command. He's gonna blow me out here. Nicol Bolas. Okay, interesting. Yeah, that was just bad. You draw a card in each opponent. Yeah, get rid of the swamp here. Urborg turns our mountains into swamp if we need it, so feels good. And I think we're just gonna attack Nicol Bolas here for 5. And if we draw a bolt, we're just gonna attack our opponent. But Village Rites is also really good. So I think it's worth attacking Bolas here. The questionable block by the opponent confused you to the point that you don't realize you have a supplier in your yard. I mean, that sounds good. We're going to hide behind that excuse. Other than the fact that I'm just retarded and didn't play it, that sounds pretty good. So we'll stick with that. I honestly do find it very interesting that like our opponent didn't block. We're gonna go ahead and cast this. I'm interested to draw a couple cards here, maybe put another land into play, in case they have like some kind of similar play here. So okay, I mean those are good draws. So, but I mean yeah, I was very confused by our opponent's block. Blocking the Stitcher Supplier just kind of seemed wrong. I mean, like if we hit Croxa and they don't have a counterspell, we just get to slam Croxa right there. So I'm gonna be honest, I having a hard time understanding that one if I'm being honest. Excuse me. Drown in the Lock our Luris, okay. We can unearth our Luris next turn. Drown in the Lock our Pyromancer, okay. It's also pretty good. Liliana of the Veil, interesting. Alright, so our opponent has no cards in hand, which is quite interesting. Land, please. Hmm. So I feel like the play here is it feels like the play here is attack Liliana for 2, unearth Luris, and play Arcanist? Because we can't get value off of the Pyromancer, and I understand that it generates the most value, but unless he just draws a blank removal spell, like he can't do anything about it, and doing this forces him to where if he's going to actually kill our if he's actually going to mine us, he has to kill his Liliana, which I'm a big fan of. So yeah, we're just going to attack all to Liliana here, put it to 2. Yeah, we're going to go with the line we just talked about. The other notable line here was the other notable line that I could think of here was to attack Liliana for 1, attack him for 1, bolt Liliana, and then play the Arcanist from our hand and hold up, and then next turn go for the play that we made this turn. So, what does Creeping Tar Pit say? Target player sacks a creature. We're definitely going to sack an elemental. Creeping Tar Pit becomes a 3/2, and it can't be blocked. Okay, well, I guess it's good we're at 22. All right, he's going to Liliana, I imagine, minus again. He's trying to keep the board clear here. So we have 4 on the board, and we have 2 bolts. So yeah, he's just dead. Yeah, thanks for playing. I guess technically we should have played the Pyromancer here first. So now, in order to make the correct play, we're forced to do something else. Okay, our opponent just concedes here while we're making a decision. Yeah, you're right. He had a blocker. I wasn't even thinking about the land, which is hilarious because I was just looking at it. All right, so our opponent's playing Grixis Control. I feel like we want all of the hate cards that we can get here. Inquisition seems good. Brutality seems good. K-Command seems good. Cards that don't seem great are Bolt. Push seems extra medium. We'll honestly, probably just leave in a push and try it that way. Leave in 1 push as removal. I mean, he does play Snapcaster Mage. He plays Snapcaster Mage. Some Grixis lists play Thing in the Ice, so it's possible that we want 2 for that. Um, so, I mean, we can try leaving in a second one and cutting a Dreadbore seems good to deal with his Planeswalkers. K-Command seems okay. I mean, maybe having 2 K-Commands is enough and we don't want a third. Do you think 4 copies of Croak's tax your graveyard enough that you prefer 3 copies of Soul Guide Lantern over perhaps 2 lanterns and 1 Cling to Dust? That's not really something I'd considered. If I'm being honest, this is the first time I've ever played this deck in Modern. This is really something that I play in Pioneer, and I'm trying it out in Modern. I'm not gonna lie, that actually doesn't seem bad. I think 4 copies of Croaks attacks your graveyard enough. I'm not gonna lie, playing 4 copies of Croaks is pretty taxing on the graveyard. The original Red Black Pyromancer list that I played was playing 3 Croxa, and I ended up on 4 because I just felt like it was so good. Like I just felt like it never stopped. Like it was just always winning games. I think we only want 1 Brutality and we want the other K command. So I think we'll try it like this. But yeah, I mean honestly, I think playing 2 Soul Guide Lanterns and like a Cling to Dust could actually be really sweet. Cling to Dust having that instant speed interaction against multiple matchups, against burn and against against other graveyard strategies actually seems really solid. So we have a lot of disruption, but we don't have any threats. So we're kind of forced to like let Lurrus do the work for us here. I think we have to mulligan this in hopes that we draw a threat hand here. And this hand's immediately better. Hey, thanks for the follow, Nostalgia. I appreciate it, buddy. Looking at this hand, I think we're putting Unearth back, and we're keeping both of our threats. So Serum Visions here. Okay. Let's see. They put 1 on top, 1 on bottom. Let's fetch a basic here and Inquisition. They have Jace, double snap, 2 lands, and a Mind Sculptor. So this feels like, yeah, we're just taking the Serum Visions here. We want them to have as little cards as possible. And they did leave a card on top, so I mean, it is. They might have left a 4th land on top. It's too late where I am. I gotta go. Good luck with the matches. Hey, no worries, man. I appreciate you coming by and hanging out, man. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. Hope you have a good night. So let's see. We took. All right. Our opponent plays Polluted Delta and says go. So technically, we know no more cards of their hand. I honestly think it's worth to just Croxa here, and then next turn have Pyromancer and a Thoughtseize. Hopefully, our opponent doesn't like have a remand in their hand. They didn't play any counter spells last game. Now that's not to say they don't have them, but they did play. I take that back. They did play. Okay, they're fetching and shocking, which more likely means remand or mana leak or something here. Drown in the lock. Okay, I mean, our opponent spin a card to stop one of our cards, so I don't really feel bad about that. Plus, they got rid of a removal spell we were worried about, so yeah. So definitely gonna lead on Pyromancer here and see what they do, and then we're gonna shock in and play Thoughtseize. Putting us to 14 puts our life total a little low, but it allows us to pick apart their hand some more and have some cards here. Maybe they have a counter spell for our Thoughtseize. They have Lightning Bolt. We are going to take the Jace. That presents the most problems. It'll take a while, but we can grind out the Snapcaster Mages and the Lightning Bolts here. We're not super worried about that. So Brutality is a good removal spell. Thoughtseize also allows us to play around this stuff. He's going to go ahead. Oh, he's going to Inquisition us. Interesting. Take our Brutality. Math checks out. Go ahead and bolt our Pyromancer now. So not drawing a land there is kind of rough. we can unearth our Pyromancer, and then we can Thought Seize our opponent. And they get left with one Snapcaster Mage, which is fine. And we get to attack for 1 here, and we have 4 points on the board. And they'll probably just, depending on what they draw, they'll probably Snap Bolt during their turn here to try and fight through the things. So we'll see what happens here. They draw a land, so they're definitely just going to Snap Bolt during their turn to get the Pyromancer off the field again. At least I imagine they will. Probably get basic Swamp here. There might be some consideration to playing Blood Moon in our sideboard. Well, no, we can't do that with Lurrus. Never mind. That was dumb. Throwing out dumb suggestions everywhere. Did you see my extremely dramatic hand motions that I just made? Don't roll your eyes at me like that. Yes, you most definitely did. You love me. You signed up for this. What are you guys laughing at me over there? Oh, wow. Okay. Thanks a lot. If I turn around, will you just pull the knife out of my back? I don't know. Yeah, but it's different when I say it. Because I'm saying it about myself. Alright, so we know our opponent doesn't have a Snapcaster Mage, which means they have one unknown in hand. They are not representing Cryptic Command here, or Archmage's Charm for that matter, so of course they're playing that red-black land, the red-black like filtering land, so I highly doubt they're on Cryptic Command or Archmage's Charm, because I don't know anybody in their right mind that would be doing that. They drew something here. So some weird part of me wants to keep our Fatal Push here just because we have such a grindy hand and a grindy, like, the way that our deck is shaped up is just super grindy, so Field of Ruin. They're going to activate Field of Ruin. We're so we're going to get a Swamp here, but drawing another basic Swamp would be rough because then we couldn't cast our Lurrus. Or we couldn't cast our Kroxa, I mean. So it's a little aggressive, but we're just going to go for it. They have no cards in hand. We're both playing off the top. We're just going to slam it and go for it. No removal spell. Eh. Alright. Land is still good for Kroxa. Man, this is rough. We're doing this the hard way. During their draw step, we get to make them discard and return our Kroxa. Return our Lurrus. Target player discards. Return target creature card from your graveyard. Target player discards a card. Return target creature, discard a card. Black, black, red. 6 since they go. Like, if they draw a counter spell here, they're forced to play their counter spell. And if they draw a land or anything, like, oh, see, that's awesome. Like, that was a draw step right there. That was a hell of a draw step, if I'm being honest. The K command right there was sweet. Was that our 5th match? Oh, okay, cool. I didn't realize it was, but that's good. So I'm not gonna lie, the list felt solid. Round 1, we took a 1-2 loss to Goblins. And our opponent ripped exactly Goblin Matron off the top to beat us on the last turn. If not, they were dead the next turn. So that was kind of rough. And then the game after that, we lost a close one to 5-color Niv. We played 3 games, but the third game was kind of a blowout, if I'm being honest. It wasn't that great. And then we beat Jund in a super close game, and then we lost. We went 0-2 to Ponza. That was a tough one. Cloythus really wrecked our world there, and we won the last one against Grixis cards our opponent owns. We don't really know what they were playing. I thought it was like Grixis control, but it was really just Grixis mid range here. There. So I'm gonna be honest. If there was one thing I was gonna do, I would do. I think what I'll work on is I'm gonna cut a swamp, and I think I might add an unearth to the deck. Unearth was an all-star. Unearth was a powerhouse. Like the card was insane. I can't speak highly enough for that card tonight. So that was great. So we'll cut a land and we'll add an unearth. And in the sideboard, we'll cut a Soul Guide Lantern and try Cling to Dust. I really liked the idea that Nostalgia had tonight. That was really good. There was something else I was wanting to change about the sideboard, but I'm not sure what it was right now. We might try cutting Feed the Swarm and run something else in its place. Not really sure what that is yet. We might try might run another Dreadbore, just in case we play against like Jund or something grindy like that. Um, so it's tough to say. But the deck felt really great. We'll definitely run it again. I'm not sure when, probably before the week's over, if I'm being honest. So, but we're gonna take a short break and we'll come back. Not exactly sure what we'll be playing, but we'll be playing some games. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out tonight, guys.